This is Tank's Vlog for November 15th, 2018. Wrapping up today in sports. We're brought to you by Allow Me to Be Frank, the podcast you can hear weekly on SoundCloud and iTunes. This week we had Stu Feiner on. It was a birthday special previewing the events that took place on Tuesday. So enjoy it. I know you will. You can listen to any episode in the past. It's the most entertaining sports podcast on the internet. You could barely bet to get this. You listen to it. Listen to it weekly. Listen to it multiple times weekly. Listen to every episode. You will not be disappointed. LeBron James was the big star and the big story tonight. He is now 5th place all-time in the NBA scoring annals. LeBron James passed Wilt Chamberlain, and Wilt Chamberlain's number is significant because Wilt Chamberlain held the record for a long time. Chamberlain's record was broken in 1985 by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is the current record holder for most points all-time scored. So it's almost like a procession. Now there are 3 people still before that LeBron has to pass. He's 5th all-time. Of course, Karl Malone's number 2. Kobe Bryant's number 3. And Michael Jordan's number 4. And Michael Jordan's not that far away. He's not that far away from LeBron. So we're going to be seeing this pursuit of the record is going to be the big story over the next few years. LeBron James, 44 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists as the Lakers beat the Trailblazers 126-117, and they're now 8-6, and now starting to look like the team that everyone expected they would be. The Brooklyn Nets got some good news earlier in the day that Caris LeVert's injury is not as serious as initially thought, but they certainly missed him tonight as they were clobbered by the Heat, 120-107 at home. I mean, if this is how bad they play without him, maybe they could really stink it up the rest of the season to get a chance to get Zion. So it may not be that all that bad. The Knicks had a successful tanking night as they were thunderstruck in Oklahoma City, losing 128-103. It was the Magic beating the 76ers 111-106 in Jimmy Butler's debut. Gee, Jimmy, I guess it wasn't the Timberwolves around and that made you keep losing, is it, Jimmy? The Wizards starting to get things turned around. We're off to a really bad start, but now have won a couple in a row and are now 5-9 after beating the Cleveland Cadabers 119-95. It was the Celtics returning home from a long road trip to beat the Bulls 111-82, and the Pistons slid past the Raptors 106-104. As Dwayne Casey got revenge on the team that fired him after being their coach of the year last year. This is a big night for Kawhi Leonard, though. He had 26 points. But Blake Griffin with 30 points, 12 rebound game, was the leading man for Detroit. The Grizzlies stunned the Bucks in Milwaukee 116-113. Despite 31-9 from Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Bucks. Oh, look, Jimmy. Look, Jimmy. The Timberwolves won without you. 107-100 beating the Pelicans. Karl-Anthony Towns, 25 points, 16 rebounds in the win. More on Towns later. Mavericks beat the Jazz 118-68. 68 points. Boy, that's kind of a sour note for Utah in that game. It was the rare win, and it was a rare win for the Phoenix Suns, 116-96 over the San Antonio Spurs. In hockey, it was the Golden Knights blanking the Ducks 5-0. It was the Blackhawks ending an 8-game losing streak by beating the Blues 1-0. The Jets flew past the Capitals 3-1, and the Avalanche buried the Bruins 6-3. It's Thursday, so dropping at noon will be my NFL picks out on Barstool. Check it out. You can also check it out on my website. Thursday night game, I'm leaning to the Packers. I think the Seahawks are not that good of a team. And I think the Packers, knowing that they must win, get a big game by Aaron Rodgers on Thursday night and stay alive. Our 3 stars are, of course, LeBron James, 44, 10, and 9. We got Corey Crawford with a 28 save shutout and a 1-0 win for the Blackhawks. And Marc-Andre Fleury, who had a 29 save shutout in the Golden Knights win over the Ducks. And today's birthday shutout is, I mentioned I'll call him back later, Karl Anthony Towns, who turns 23. You know, he needs to start getting better. He puts up numbers, but sometimes they seem hollow. He needs to start becoming more of a leader in Minnesota, because that Timberwolves team looks like it's just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and not spinning in a good direction. And we take a look back to 1960. We'll talk about NBA scoring leaders. Here's someone that's forgotten about. Elgin Baylor, who became the first player in 1960 to score 70 points in a game. He put up 71 at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks that night in 1960. Of course, Wilt Chamberlain came along and broke his records, but that 71 points, that was a big milestone at the time. So check out the story at Barstool Sports and Sports Encyclopedia, where sports history lives. And don't forget, every week, every day, SoundCloud, iTunes. Allow me to be frank, is the way. It's the podcast you want to hear. And of course, I'll be remiss without mentioning it. Cy Young announced today, and the right decision was made. Jacob deGrom, National League Cy Young winner, and only one voter voted against him. Of course, it was some jerk from Washington. But Jacob deGrom, big hand, Cy Young winner. We knew it was coming. It happened. The one good thing out of this miserable Mets season. Now, let's see the Mets actually support him next year and let him get 2 in a row. Good day.